But we're so happy that you're here, and we're happy that you're going to have the benefit of this great presentation this morning. I want to introduce to you Vani Kapoor, who's our PEC representative. Wave bigger, Vani. There you go. There you go. And also Jenna Herzog, who is going to introduce our speakers this morning and get us all organized. So thank you, Vani, and thank you, Jenna, for your hard work, and thanks everyone for being organized enough to have this on your calendar to be here today.
So good morning, I'm Jenna Herzog. I'm the P.E.C. representative from Bradfield with Vani Kapoor, my teammate there. And for those of you who are not familiar with the P.E.C., it's the HPISD Parent Education Committee. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. So the P.E.C. provides speakers, educational programming, and resources to HPISD families and concerning topics that are relevant to raising our children to become healthy and responsible adults. So it is my honor to present our PEC program this morning called Get Organized, featuring Lorraine Brock. I met Lorraine over the summer. I was researching different organizational companies and experts, and when I met Lorraine, I just knew that she was the right person for our community. And she's a professional organizer, family coach, speaker, and she is the founder and president of Get Organized. Get Organized is a Dallas-based professional organizing company with expertise in both residential and business organization. As a popular media guest, Lorraine has been featured on Good Morning Texas, Good Day Fox, CBS 11, and many other local, regional, and national print and online magazines. On a personal note, Lorraine has been married for 26 years to her high school sweetheart and has 3 sons. When asked if her home is organized, Lorraine says, "Yes, everything has a place, but my goal is function first, not perfection." So if you would please help me welcome to our stage, Lorraine Brock. One side note, Life Kitchen brought for us muffins, coffee. It's a wonderful restaurant. It's absolutely organic, fresh local foods. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but they were very kind to sponsor our event. So go over there and get yourself something to eat and drink. And here's Lorraine.
Good morning. You guys can hear me? Awesome, awesome. I have a naturally loud voice anyway, so if I get too loud for this, y'all just give me the signal and I'll turn off the mic. I am excited to be here. Actually, this has been in the planning, like she said, since the summer. We met in person at her home. Thank you very much for opening that up. And we began to spend a couple hours together planning, and then we had to go and implement it. And this program is designed to meet you right where you are at, okay, in the season of your life. Now, not everything is going to apply in your life, every single detail, so we've tried to bring a variety of things in. But everyone eats, everyone has a home, and here I'm assuming everyone has a kid, right? Okay, then we're pretty much on the same season of our life. A little bit about my children. My oldest is 22, and then I have a 20 and 17. And the reason I say that is because I'm on the end of the parenting. I still have one in Plano schools that's a senior this year. So a lot of these ideas and systems that I'm going to be speaking about, either two things. Either I, implement them in my own home at some point, or we implement them or suggest them to our clients at some point for their home. Every family functions differently. They have different lifestyles, they have different tendencies, and they have different habits. So many times these ideas can be morphed and changed into meeting a need. So if it's not exactly right for you, talk to me afterwards or email me, and I'll be glad to personally help you over the phone and give you maybe a different suggestion or something. Now let me tell you what you have in your hand as far as handouts. Number one, you have a survey form from me. It looks, it's not the PCE? PEC. It's not that one. There's 2 survey forms. I will ask that you be very good about filling both of them out because they need your feedback for future planning, and I want your feedback on the presentation today. Mine, you're going to win prizes. So, just saying. Go ahead.
Lorraine, we're going to pass them on at the end.
At the end, okay, so you don't have those yet. So my survey, I'll give you like a 15-minute window at 10:15-ish. I'll probably stop, and they'll hand out the surveys. Make sure if your email's on there, if you will print. I was speaking to a lady over here, I don't know the name. Quinn. Quinn and I were talking before, and you've been getting my newsletter for like 7, is it you? And, okay, been getting my newsletter for 7 years now, is that about correct? So she met me years ago, and we send out one every month that talks about programs of free organizational services in the homes when we train our team. So if you want to be on that list, your information will be added to our email list. If not, keep it off. You have an age-appropriate chore chart or chore list here. These are just suggestions based on what the average kid is capable of doing. And let me say that in most homes we go into, the teacher requires more of the kids in the classroom than the parents require at home. Okay, just across the board, that's what we notice. You also have a quiz, which you can welcome to take right now. It's pretty cool, actually. It sort of lets you know where you're at on the organizational scale. Little fun to take there. And then we have creative solutions for kids, and we'll talk about that as we get into chores. Now, a couple things we're going to talk about in here is specifically time management is going to be our first topic. And I want to know, does anyone ever come to school like this? Just saying. Now, number one, I want this is supposed to be learning for you guys, okay? I want you to participate. I want you to ask your questions because this is for you to learn. This is very practical. So if you have a question that's totally unrelated to what I'm talking about, I will open it up towards the end so you can ask your questions. But until then, please stay on the topic in which we are talking about, time management questions. So one of the things that I see a lot, and I have been guilty, I'm not a perfectionist, is sometimes I am late. Now believe me, in my industry with what I do, if I'm late or lose my keys, my husband always says, I know this lady. She can get you organized. Okay? Just saying. So sometimes I think we need this out in the front of the schools and in the homes because this is how we come to school many times. We are barely making it out the door and we don't have what we need. We forget what we need, have to go back home, making trips for forgotten lunches and so forth. I want to encourage you guys today that we all have the same amount of time. It's what you do with it. The best defense against chaos is preparation. Okay? If I told you to go organize your photos, organize your master closet, your garage, or scan documents, what does every one of those things take? Time. So if I'm trying to get anyone organized, I start with time management because without time management teaching and skills, you're most likely not going to be able to get those things done in a time period you want, okay? So that's where we're going to start today, is time management. Now, one of the things that I want to bring to your attention is the cost of clutter. People, I have clutter in my life, and yes, sometimes it does take up extra space in my home, but think of clutter as not just physical space, but up here. All the clutter we have in our mind that we have to try to process. Now, I want to look at the 3 different areas up here. We have money, time, and stress. So I've divided out for you what is clutter really costing you. Now, you're not going to see it most likely on a line item on your budget. But clutter is costing you something, whether it's an overcommitted schedule, whether it's poor time management, whether there's lack of delegation in the home to delegate responsibilities, whether you're overbuying, whether you're not planning and preparing and you're having to buy things at full cost or go through the drive-thru because you didn't prepare a healthy meal. I mean, all these things cost you something. So we're going to look and see what it cost you. Money, medical bills due to stress-related issues. The National Disease and Center and Control states that 80% of our medical expenditures come from stress-related issues. That means they start there, guys. That means anxiety, stress, relationships, overcommitment, not getting enough sleep, anxiety when you walk in the home and things are just so messed up. Normally disorganized homes are a byproduct of something else. And it could be poor time management. There's a lot of things it could be. Overcommitted, no time to cook or spend time with family. Wendy's drive-thru or Taco Bell seems to be the place you go, and then your family doesn't eat right. Obesity rates go up. You get sick. You go to the doctor. The lack of family time is huge. I asked and I'm going to show you, whether you want to answer this or not, I'm going to ask it. Who has regular date nights with their spouse or their children on a regular basis? That's probably 7 of you guys. Remember, when you say yes to something, you automatically say no to something else. Overcommitment, you say yes to, but maybe something else you're saying no to. Rebuying items. Okay, let me just say this. And I want this to be real, guys. Okay, I'm not living in this fantasy world. I am not Miss Perfection. The average American spends about 55 minutes a day. That's roughly, if you added it up, about 12 weeks a year. Looking for things they know they own, but can't find. I'm serious. The time, the gas, the money spent in this costs you something. Time. Missed opportunities, or that are now more difficult to do. You get in this crisis mode and things are harder to do. You've missed opportunities. I'm working with my 17-year-old right now for scholarships, for applying for them. And he's frustrated. It's taking all his free time to do this. And I'm like, if you don't do it, you're going to miss an opportunity that could cost you. And that's as simple as a scholarship. Extra time spent looking for lost items. We talked about that. Loss of relationship time because of poor planning. Some of these speak for themselves. Stress always seems to live in that crisis mode. I mentioned that. Most people get comfortable in a crisis mode and they sort of stay there. And when you get out, and I'll tell you a really good example. If I go, and I get busy and I do overcommit sometimes. It's the exception to the rule, but it does happen. You go out in the country for a while and get out with the breeze and the birds and just sort of disconnect and you can realize and see where you are on the stress level, that you just become so used to living in this crisis mode, one thing after the next, after the next. You can tell really when you do something like that how vast you live in that overcommitted realm. Overwhelmed and unable to make decisions. That's a big one. People get stuck because if they can't do it well, then they don't do it. Or that they don't have time to finish it right then, they don't do it. And therefore, they don't do it. And it just starts piling up on them. They never address it. Stressed out parents equals stressed out kids. And I've got some statistics on the kid thing. All right, so we know what things cost you. Now look at the statistics here. Now I'm not going to read this. I'll let you read it. But I'm going to point out here, chronic tardiness in elementary and middle school is associated with failure in high school. This is the arena where they start learning time management by you in the home. If you're chronically late, I'm not saying just to school, but to things, if you're chronically forgetful and leaving things out, they're going to pick up on what you're doing. And I really liked this. Students who are frequently tardy to school are more apt to have attendance and tardiness problems when entering the workforce. Guys, I want the bonus. I want my kids, I want to say, hey, you're doing a great job. You know, we're going to give you a raise. Okay? This is what I want. I want my child to stand out. and time management in the workplace, in school. It all goes, it's the big picture. It all goes together. And then like this one, only 4% of kids say they wanted less free time. 18 said they had just the right amount of time. But 61% of kids wish they had a lot more free time. If they had more time, most would spend it hanging out, playing with friends. One of the things that I noticed when I was a young mom was that I was trying to be, now I was never perfect in any realm, but I was very conscientious to not overcommit my schedule. I couldn't have my kids in 3 different, and I had 3 boys and they were all in football. So yes, I had 3 practices at least a week, but I had to be very careful not to invest all my time in that because I had little time at home to sit down and pour in my family values. I had little time to cook healthy. I had little time to keep my home in order. I had little time to spend with my husband or teaching my children character. I just had a little bit of window, if some days not at all. And I want to pour into my kids because I want my future daughter-in-law to say thank you. And by the way, my oldest son is married with 2 kids. I know y'all think I'm crazy. I got married a few days after high school. My mom was 14, so we had this young thing going on. But so far, success everywhere. But I'm just telling you, my son knows how to engage. He knows how to clean. He knows how to fold clothes. He knows when to have someone on time, and he's involved. And I don't want him to be a non-involved parent. I want him to mirror what he's been taught. And guys, they're so impressionable at this age. And they're willing to soak it all in. And you know what? It is easier for you to do it yourself. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be easy to say, let me do it. I'm not going to teach it. You know, I have taught time management to my kids. I have taught, now obviously as a little older, I've taught budgeting. I've taught giving. I've taught checkbook balancing, which hardly anybody does that anymore. I've taught all those things. I have to pour into them. It takes time. And if you're overcommitted, these things get passed up. Now, let me ask you, do they have in elementary school here a Organizing 101 class? No? Do they have it in middle school, Organizing 101? High school? Who's going to teach it then? You guys. That's where they really learn it at, okay? Now, I was in an AVID program. I was speaking to an AVID program in the Plano School District, and I went into the classroom and actually spoke to the students. And I will tell you, they had, the teacher comes up and goes, Lorraine, she goes, I have a lesson on time management. Out of the whole school year, she had one thing on organization. One thing, and that was in an AVID program. I don't know what the other school was getting, other students. It was critical. Okay, so I want to talk about a brain dump now. Now, when you think of a brain dump, I want you to think something similar to a to-do list, but they're quite different. So most people make lists and work off of them, okay? So the difference between a to-do list and a brain dump list is that a to-do list is more of what I'm doing today, maybe tomorrow, or things I need to get together for a meeting or a party, okay? Where a brain dump list is that and more. It is, I need to organize the garage, but it's the month of August, so it's a little too hot, so maybe I'll need it, it's on my brain dump list to do. I guess you might call it a little bit of a goal, but it's just dumping all of this, all the things. Now, our short-term memory holds about 10 items, guys. 10 items. So when you have 20, 30, 40 things a day to remember, something's fallen off one of the ends. Maybe not just one thing, maybe a whole bunch. So what are we going to do with all that information? Whether you work and you have business commitments and obligations and tasks, or they're in your personal life, it doesn't matter. We get so much here. And when you think of organization, don't you think of physical, like organizing my desk or organizing my closet? Well, think of this too. So I do a brain dump pretty much every night. Now, I'll be honest, it's not 100% every night. But pretty much, I do a brain dump every night. Now, there's no perfect time to do a brain dump. You can do yours in the morning. You can do yours while you're waiting on a doctor's appointment. But what it is, it's setting down yourself. Now, I do it on a spiral tablet. You are more than welcome to use your phone, any kind of note-taking software like OneNotes or Evernote, okay? But I'm going to tell you a little bit of the pros and cons with what to use. When the first step in time management is to get your brain dump. I want you to empty out everything, every long project, everything you keep saying, oh yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. Oh, I need to do that. Oh yeah, okay, I want you to empty all of that out. And you have to do this. The first time you do your brain dump, you're going to have a very lengthy list. Okay, now I have an office assistant that comes in my office about twice a week. And at Christmas time last year, after Christmas is over, so it's probably first week in January, she had came back and she had done her brain dump. And I teach everyone that works for me to do this, because if you follow this step, while it may be a little cumbersome for the first 30 days, because you got a lot that you're dumping, okay? I know I use that terminology. I am like thinking, well, you've got to get caught up, okay? You've got to get caught up with all this stuff. So she comes in with a sheet of notebook paper, and on the back and front, she turns it over, and it is completely filled with everything. Now, some of that stuff was on her calendars, but others, she's just been thinking in the back of her mind, one day I'll get to it. I need to do that. I need to start making time to learn how to cook healthy, or start making a date night. I need to start planning this stuff. So there's a difference between planning and scheduling. Two different things. The brain dump is your planning, and most people stop there and they work off of their to-do list. I want you guys to rethink that and start working off of your calendars. Now, by a show of hands in here, how many, I'm going to bring this over here, how many of you, and again, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons, how many of you as your primary calendar uses one on the wall that's stuck to the refrigerator wall like this? Anyone use this? There's always a couple, okay? Number one, this is the worst one you can use. And listen, I'm going to throw myself under the bus because we're here to learn, right? Okay? We're here to learn. So I'm not picking on you. I'm trying to teach you. This is the worst one you could use. Does anyone know why? It doesn't go with you. It's not portable, okay? So now, do I have one of these in my home? Mm-hmm. And I use it as a reference on a quick glance at the calendar, and my little heart for my little dog heartworm pills on there. That's about all I use it for, okay? So, who uses a paper day planner, and these are old, so don't even look at the date, but a paper day planner like this, that's your primary organizational tool is a paper day planner. Okay, nothing wrong with that. How many uses their phone as their primary calendar? Okay. So the difference between these things is that for people with ADHD or ADD, and I have a son that has ADD, so I'm going to speak about what I know as a parent. I am not any certification whatsoever. I'm going to speak to you as a parent on this. Anything with an ADHD or ADD child, in my case, is they're very visual, and they can't see out on a phone. And oftentimes they will try to use a phone for the pressures of either society or maybe a spouse or maybe the office. And because they can't see what they're doing, you see these dots of what you're doing, you have to open each one. It sometimes doesn't work for them. They're very visual. Number one, there's nothing wrong with using a paper day planner. It's not what you use, it's how you use it, okay? Electronic, I actually went over to electronic about 3 years ago and really like it, but it was a business decision for me, and everything for who I manage, my life required that. But so the ones that use paper, there's nothing wrong with it, and we'll get in a little bit about that. So on my brain dump, I want to capture, where did I put my little thing? Am I going to get this organized up here in front of you guys? Okay. On my brain dump list, I'm going to list everything that comes to my mind when I'm dumping my thoughts and my tasks and my things and projects that I want to accomplish. So what you're about to see is my life, my schedule, and my brain dump list. Now, granted, this was all done pretty much in the month of August. So, and I've made a few alterations. So it's sort of a mock-up of mine, but understand it's my life. In any life or any schedule you do, whether you're a single parent, or whether you work 2 jobs, whether you stay at home, it doesn't matter. You can insert your schedule there. It's the process that I'm going to teach you. You got that? It's the process of thinking. Okay, so brain dump. These are just a small list of my brain dump. Find a receipt. Okay? Got to return something. I need to have the receipt to return it. Okay? Buy a wedding gift. Trim shrubs. Call the IRS. Fun. Research meal planning sites. I get busier in the fall, and so I like to use meal planning sites to help me stay organized during my busy season. Scan photos. Organize garage. And firm up Thanksgiving plans. Okay? That's my brain dump list. Now, again, sometimes this gets really long. Sometimes it's quite short. As you do this more and more, it will get shorter, and different seasons will get longer. Now, this is who makes to-do lists and puts them on paper? Okay? How many of you work off of those to-do lists? Most people do. Never make a brain dump list or a to-do list on a single sheet of paper. Okay? You want to try to do it on a notebook if you're going to do it on paper at all, or like I said, OneNote or Evernote. Does anyone not know what OneNotes or Evernote is? Okay, so OneNote is, both of them are like a 5-subject spiral notebook. Think of a 5-subject. And let's say it says math on it, okay? Inside of that would maybe sample problems for the math, maybe test dates for the math, maybe homework assignments, okay? So think of a digital 5-subject spiral notebook, but you can have more than 5 subjects in every notebook. I have a personal notebook, and I have a business notebook, and then maybe my personal goes into vacations that we go on. And then in vacations, I may say campsites if we go tent camping. Or I may say, local, like stay vacations when I don't want to go. Y'all get the idea? OneNote probably it does come with your Microsoft Office suite, so if you have Excel or Word, you may already have it and you don't even know it. Evernote is just its competitor. There is a free version to it, and then obviously there's a paid version if you want a lot more features. My phone, my tablet, and my desktop all sync up to OneNote. If I make a note on my phone, it's on every device. Okay, so it helps keep me organized. Okay, so after we do our brain dump, we're going to go to the August calendar. And I just picked a week. And we have a little ledger down here that you can see. Now, I want to take my average week, let's say, in this month, to show you what is sort of in mine. Again, this is my schedule. You can insert yours when you do this. So I have decorate Kaylee's cake. One of my granddaughters turned 1, or my granddaughter turned 1, so I was going to decorate her a cake. Okay? I have other personal things here. You can see on Corby ROTC right here. This is my son's going to be at some kind of school activity there. You can see that business-wise, I'm going to cancel a fax number. I'm going to return something to Container Store. And these are other things. A blog's due. I've got some interviews there. Now, at this point in my life, my son was not driving. As you can see, I have things that I'm involved in taking. Now, someone asked me the other day when I did this for them, they said, well, Lorraine, wouldn't you just put that 8 o'clock you had to take him? Yeah, I could. And I could also pick up when I wanted to. But in my world, what I want to see the full block he's going to be there. So in case I need to plan a doctor's appointment for him, then I know that he's not available here. Okay? So this is the way I do it. You can choose any way you want to do it. Some more exit interviews. I'm actually going to babysit on Friday. Okay? I'll babysit there. And then I have a dental appointment, and then my son works again, and I think that's pretty much my calendar. Now, the next step, so when you get your brain dump done, the next step is to get in front of your calendar. Now, if I go back to a cell phone, it's going to be tedious to enter all this in a cell phone. Now, can you? Absolutely. But what I would suggest is getting to a tablet, laptop, desktop, something, because you need to open your calendar and see the big picture, and you need to do one by one and put them on your calendar. Remember, I told you there's a difference between planning to do something and scheduling it. Okay, so now that we've planned, we're going to schedule. So let me ask you something. Let's say, these are all going to go to you guys a little bit later, but let's say this bag right here, the first one, is today's date. We're on the 16th, right? Okay, and let's say this right here is going to be November 15th. Let's say I go home today and there's a wedding invitation in my mailbox. And that's going to be the day of the wedding, November 15th. What do most people, when they decide they're going to go to the wedding, what does most people put on their calendar? What?
Wedding.
The wedding day, right. Very easy. I think, is that a trick question? No, it's not. The wedding date. Okay, be confident in your answers. Okay, so what's going to happen normally what happens between the day you get the wedding invitation and the day of the wedding? What happens through here that most people do not put on their calendar? Shopping for a gift. For us women, we like to shop, so yes, clothing, maybe getting our, the guys might need them, tux, maybe you have to plan for, babysitter. But here's what most people do. Now, this could be any event. I'm just using this as an example. Okay, any event. They go through life, busy, hectic, rush, and they get to right here, right before the wedding day. And they go, oh no, I got oh my word, I got to go get my nails done, I got to go shop for a gift, I got to do all these things, and they start living in that crisis mode if they already was not in it to begin with. And we live here, okay? So then now you can't cook dinner at night for sure that you had planned to, because now you got to be out and everyone's going to eat Taco Bell and drink their Slurpees. And I'm not against going to eat fast food every once in a while, but we live and do this all the time. We do it. And then now the Friday night you thought you had at home with your family is given up because you planned and prepared poorly. Okay? This is what I want to alleviate. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my brain dump list, and I have it up here in my hand. And I want to see where logically, with your guys' help, is the most important or the best option knowing the brain dump list. And the first one was on our brain dump list was find a receipt. So we're looking at that calendar based on my schedule. When would be the best time to find that receipt?
When you purchase the item.
Tuesday in the evening? What does that say right there? What does it say right there? So if I do it Tuesday evening, what's going to happen? Too late. That means the return doesn't get made, right? This is what I want to teach you. You guys have got to read your calendars, and you've got to learn the difference between planning and scheduling. Learn to estimate time, commute time, getting ready time. Especially when it's not just you you're taking care of. You're taking care of a household. So when's the best time to do the receipt? Sunday would be an option. What else? Sunday, anytime Sunday would be good, or what else? Monday morning. Now, no, most of the time Monday mornings are what? Rushed and busy. So knowing that, I think I will put mine right there on Sunday. Okay, I'm going to make sure that now you'll say, Lorraine, why is some of this stuff at the top? These are things that I have selected on my calendar. I use Outlook. I have selected the all day button. I sort of use my calendar this way. For little things that don't take very long or they're quick, I can do them anytime that day. I put them at the top of the calendar. You could probably do this with Google Calendars, a lot of other things, okay? I'm just using this example. If I have a specific time for something, then I will put it on there that I have to do it. So the next thing is buying a wedding gift. Now, in my household, we get paid on the 15th and the end of the month. So let's say in my household, I'm a little strapped for cash and I want to budget when I'm going to buy that wedding gift. When do you think knowing that would be the most optimal time to do it? Friday. Right here. And why is that Friday? What is it? I get paid on Friday, okay. What else could be a good day to do it? Could be Saturday. Now, knowing if you can remember anything else on the calendar, again, you may not remember everything. Where do you think I might put my buying a wedding gift? What's the most, looking at that?
Saturday.
Well, I'm not even going to be out Saturday. So unless I want to make a special trip out, when am I already going to be out? The dentist. See? I'm doing it based on how I can be most efficient with my time and planning. I don't want to get out on Saturday unless I just have to. I'd rather do something fun. Okay? So I'm going to put it right there when I'm already out at the dentist. Now, I could choose maybe to go a little earlier right after, but I've left time in here for commuting. Okay? After babysitting, I'm going to commute. Okay, now tree shrubs. Why would I put tree shrubs on Saturday? I'm going to be home all day. Now, some people might want to do it in the evening. I'm just saying I don't want to trim bushes and then go out and buy a wedding gift. That's not my idea of a Saturday. So I'm thinking these things through. Next thing, call the IRS. Where do you think that would go? Monday, I have one Monday. What else? Why would I not do it on Monday? What?
They may not answer the phone.
Oh, well, they may not answer because why? What is the most number one day people call? Monday. So is it going to be a good idea that I call Monday if I want to maximize my time? Could be Wednesday. Let's see where I chose. Bingo! You get like an award. Okay. I chose there. Now, IRS, you're probably going to be on the phone for a while, right? So I've got to leave buffer in that. The next thing, research meal planning sites. Now, I'm decorating a cake on Sunday.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, but I'm already trimming shrubs. I want to sleep in Saturday morning. I put it Thursday night. Now, none of the nights would be wrong, but I'm not done with my other stuff here. Okay? So I'm just saying, I'm thinking through when I want to do this. What makes sense for me to have the maximization of my time and spend it appropriately. The next thing is scan photos. Now, here's the thing about a brain dump. When I do something like scan photos, is that a one-time done deal? No. So I'm going to have to put on there multiple times, maybe one day a week. Maybe you do it, if you're not a football fan and your husband does, and maybe you are like, or your wife does, make sure you put on Monday Night Football when someone's watching football and you can go scan documents and photos. I mean, be creative with your time, okay? Think that kind of stuff through. There will be multiple steps involved in that. So scan photos, I put on Monday night. Now, football's not going on here. I just put it there. Okay. And then the next one's organized garage. Now, I will tell you, I didn't put organized, even though it's on my brain dump list, I didn't put organized garage on it. Why do you think?
It's August.
It's August. So what do you think I did with that information? It's on my brain dump list. Did I just leave it on my list? No, I did something with it. What'd I do? I put it on the calendar for a day in October. I did not wait. I put it on there like it's a scheduled appointment with myself and my husband to organize the garage. If there's something in your life that you need to get organized and it's going to be a big project and you know you need to do it, my husband, while he is so neat, he has stacks of paper, beautiful stacks of paper, beautiful. And he's not as detailed and organized, but our house is very clean. He just likes things, piled up a little bit more. And he's a big IT guy, and I said, I want to organize all your IT parts. And it's like 6 or 8 tubs full of IT parts in there. And I said, he says, oh yeah, we'll get to that. Whoa, no. I'm tired of saying we're going to get to it. There's a difference between planning and now I want to schedule. So I have it scheduled, and I told him last night, yesterday's his birthday, we have one container to go through every Saturday that we're home until it gets done. If he wants to gear up and do it all on one Saturday, that's great. And he's agreed to this, but I got it on the calendar. I've even sent him a reminder so he will know Friday night that Saturday he's going to organize that container. So I'm working with his personality. He doesn't want to be overcommitted on Saturdays working. And so I can only do one container. So I'm trying to give you guys, these are lifestyle choices. Lifestyle choices. All right, we're almost done here. Firm up Thanksgiving plans. Where do you think, I mean, is it going to be real easy to do that? What do I got to do? Call a lot of people, email a lot of people, and I just chose to do it on Sunday. That's about all I could fit on my Sunday. Okay, and again, now, one of the key elements is when you look, I use my calendar as a working scheduled to-do list. That means I look at my calendar about 20 times a day or more. It tells me what I'm doing, when I'm doing. But the great thing about it is my calendar doesn't control me. I control my calendar. So if you're teaching this to your young children, always start off with putting the fun things first on the schedule. When I taught my kids in elementary, I started teaching them time management. Let's say they had a report for Mount Rushmore and that they received on Monday, and it was due the following Monday. So I said, okay, here's a great example. You're in school all these days, then you have practice after school, and then you have events that you have to go to after that on some days, and you want to spend the night with someone on Friday night, and it goes into Saturday, and then you have lunch, the family lunch on Sunday, and then all this stuff. When do you really have time to do that report? And they think they have a whole week, but they really don't. So it makes them look at things differently, like they really don't have as much time as they think. It's the same with you guys. Okay, so firming up Thanksgiving plans I did. If you do not get your stuff done, just move it. Your next brain dump, just move it to the next day you can do it. Whether that's 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, a month out, the next day, it doesn't matter. Just move it until you actually get to it. Don't leave things in the past. Whether you have a paper calendar, digital, just move things forward. But don't overcommit, because you're just setting yourself up in most cases for failure. Okay, leave more time. Go ahead.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but also scheduling nothing. Like leaving
Absolutely.
If I see your Tuesday, it's like, that's the only night you're going to have nothing to do.
Nothing to do. Now, right here, this just takes about 30 seconds to log on to the Plano website and print my son's schedule. The school district sent me out a date that his schedule was going to be available for the new school year. I put it on there, I'm done. Okay, so you're right, planning. That's why I'm trying to be very protective. I want to be home. I don't mind doing things around the house, but you're right. I want to be home. I don't want to always go somewhere. I want to be in my PJs all day cutting bushes. I'm just telling you, whatever you want to do, okay? But you are absolutely right. Plan time to do nothing. Plan time to be home and care. Now, I want to give you all a little example here before we're almost done with time management. I went in and talked to a couple, actually it was the wife, probably a year and a half ago. And she had agreed to be a stay-at-home mom and take care and manage the home and run the household and kids. It was agreed upon. The husband worked. And I went in, the first thing she said, I want to let you know we're in counseling. And I said, okay. And she says, my husband is so aggravated at this house, it's just blown up. And he won't allow anyone to come over for any kind of social interactions or dinners because he's embarrassed. And I said, okay. She said, so I have to get my social interaction one way or the other. And she's just letting me know where she stands right now. And I'm listening. She said, so I just signed up to volunteer at the school PTA. Does anyone see anything wrong with that? Now, is there anything wrong with volunteering at school? No? Nothing wrong with that at all. And I said, okay, can I put my mommy hat on and my wife hat? And I want to speak some truth. And you can cut me off anytime you want. I said, you've agreed to be home, to get this home in order, and to make it a safe haven, a place of rest for your family, but yet you're choosing not to do that. So you're lacking in social skills, so you're going out, you're working against yourself. And it was just big Ferris wheel of this thing, and I've never had anyone really come out and say that to me. And you're just working against yourself. So you have to look, and it could be the total opposite situation. But you have to look at if you're saying yes to something out there, volunteering somewhere, doing things that you really maybe shouldn't do at this point in your life, then you're maybe saying no to your family or your household or your budget or you're cooking healthier meals or whatever it might be. So you have to figure out that balance. And there's a balance. I don't want to be at home all the time. And I don't want to cook all the time. I want to be out. But I also know that I want my family to have that haven, and I have to manage that if that's my responsibility. Now, any questions on time management? Any questions? They don't understand the brain dump, anything?
Are there
specific, I don't know, calendars or sites for like middle school kids to introduce them to being organized and doing their own calendars? So us as mommies aren't always the ones who are doing calendars for them?
Sure. Well, there probably is. Most middle school kids don't carry around with them smartphones. You said middle school kids, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I was leaning on elementary. There's a phone with their calendar. I mean, there's no reason they couldn't use the phone that came with their calendar if they have a smartphone. There is, if I can remember it, there is an app. It's called, write down on your survey form to ask me. There's an app that handles to-dos, like kids' chores or things like that.
For their desktop, for at home to, put things in.
Okay, I don't know anything that would be kid interaction. Now, I do have a whole list of online type calendars that they could use. And I don't have them in my mind, but I could absolutely provide them. Cozy.com is one, but it's more, I will tell you the interface is more for females. Girls would like it, okay? It has all kinds of K-O-Z-I. But I mean, if you have Outlook, I mean, why not start teaching them, or Google Calendars? I mean, they don't have to have an interface with the kid. I mean, especially by middle school. I mean, in a few years, they may have a part-time job. So, I mean, why go kiddish? Why not just go ahead and use what's out there that's already free? If you need a list of those, I'll be glad to give them to you. Just put it on your survey form. Any questions about the brief? Go ahead.
What's the best way to coordinate the overall family calendar with our husbands as well? Because he's scheduling work meetings and different things, and what's the best way to do it?
Well, before I was a paper person for a long time, and my husband's always been digital since it exists. So what I would do, I would send him an email of all these things he had to put on his calendar when I was paper. Now that I am digital, I actually create every appointment. So if he's taking the kids somewhere, I put an appointment on his calendar that he has to do it. So I can send things to him just based on his email. That's what I do. And I also set the reminder up based on him looking, the way he looks at his phone. Does he need a 15-minute reminder, or does he need like a 24-hour reminder that he's doing it? So that means, is that what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, he manages his own calendar, but it's more just, he'll schedule a breakfast meeting with someone, and it turns out, I might have to do something that morning as well. And we usually, do it.
Right. Now, I do look.
didn't know if you have any special.
Well, I do look a week out. So that weekend, I will look out to see. Now, again, my youngest has just started driving, okay? So we're out of that stage. But I will tell you, the week before, I always look out to see if there's anything with taking or picking up the kids or getting them anywhere that I can't do. The burden in our household is on me. If I can't do it, then I just tell my husband. That's sort of our rule. And he jumps in 4 or 5 times a week. But the burden is on me to reach out to him if I can't do it. Otherwise, he expects me to do it. Does that make sense? And that's just sort of the rule of thumb. That's why I look out a week and then put it on his schedule if not. Because he works from home. And you would think he'd be the number one person, but his job requires him to be on the phone all the time. Okay? Go ahead.
Can they, is there a way, I think I understand what she's saying, is there a way to share a calendar?
Oh, yeah.
So that, like, he gets on and he's got a morning meeting and not able to take the kids to school, and so she's
Right, and you're wanting to see his calendar. If you want to see his calendar, they can feed in, and you can see every event. You can see busy, free. It depends on how you set it up.
Yeah, we have my middle schooler, to answer the middle school question, my middle school, we all have Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So my 13-year-old, my 15-year-old, my 9-year-old, my husband, myself, we all have Google Calendar. And so if he's planning to leave on a trip or go someplace or has a dinner meeting, it knows exactly where we all are. And we all have a different color. So
Yes.
you pull it up, you see where Lucas is, where Emma is, where Abigail is, where I am. So at any second of the day, and we all share them. And so if Abigail needs to know where Emma is or who's getting picked up or where mom is because Emma's getting picked up, they can figure it out.
And you can turn, at least with now, I'm sure with Google the same way, you can turn someone's calendar on and off. So it's not like you have to see what they're doing all the time.
Right.
You can just turn it off and say, I don't want to see that. Or you can overlay all of them and see overlaid what everyone's doing. And you'll say, well, my calendar is going to get real busy. If I do this brain dump and I sync the calendars and I do all that, it's going to get really busy and colorful and a lot is going to be on it. But you're already that busy anyway. Don't fake yourself out. You're really that busy. It's just not planned and scheduled, okay? So don't, well, 2 or 3 things on a list on your calendar is not really what you're doing. It really has you have a lot more stuff you're doing. So absolutely, I love the overlays, and I feed my husband's calendar in. I have about 10 people that feeds into mine. I can turn on and off all the time. Okay, so here we're talking about resources for meal planning, and I'm going to let you guys read this. I'm just going to tell you a little bit, and then I'm going to get to a lot of this stuff up here. These things are websites or places that you can go and get some information about better meal planning. Quit going through those drive-thrus as much. Let your family budget get under control on the out to eat. I see that a lot, if you so desire to do this. I will tell you, I have used these. This is really good. I've never used them, but I have met them, the girls that do this, and have really looked at their site, and they crock pot everything, and you love them, don't you? I can tell. Every side dish, every dessert, every main dish is all crock pot. Whatever, you got it. Blah, blah, blah. So they have multiple crock pots, not just one when you cook a meal. And there is crock pot liners, ladies and gentlemen, that makes cleanup just a bag in the trash. Very efficient. Emails. Let me just tell you about emails. I use this one and this one a lot. Emails is backed by Dave Ramsey. It is a website that you can select the type of food, the way you want to eat, low fat, vegetarian, whatever, and you get to decide on which store you want to shop at. And they plan a menu based on the sale prices at that store that week. It's awesome. Okay, it is truly awesome. I love it. And let's say you buy a roast on Monday that's a little bigger than what your family will eat. They'll make a totally different dish with the leftovers on Wednesday. So you're not going to the store buying things that's sitting in your pantry for 6 months. Okay? Wasting money there. Emails. The Fresh 20. This is more farmer's market type food. If your children have a lot, or someone in your family member has a lot of organic, need it a little more organic, or have a lot of allergies to foods, this would be where you go. A little bit more time consuming right here for this, but definitely. Now, both of these, especially this one, look on Groupon and Living Social, especially by the first of the year. They many times have deals on this. The average cost is $7 a month for you to buy it in 3-month increments. Okay? Guys, this makes it easy. Your shopping list is boom, 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 boom. If you don't like a meal, you don't buy that meal based on the number. It's so organized. So organized. Everyone got this information on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And we're going to get to all of these right here. Okay. Now I'm going to sort of lay this down, and I am going to start going over some of this stuff up here. Now we're going to talk about the morning routine, getting out the door early. I'm going to show y'all some products and ideas, things that will help y'all get out the morning. I have a problem with one of my children, or had a problem, about forgetting things. Yeah. Lunches. I even took him to school one time and he didn't have his shoes on, and I didn't notice it. And then when we got back home to look for him, he forgot he left him at his uncle's that night. So they've been missing for a while. So we were really disorganized that day. So I'm just going to give you some ideas of how to get out the door quicker. I will tell you, with one of my children who has a problem with forgetting things, we allowed 5 times a semester to bring him anything. And after that, he suffered the consequences. You don't turn in your homework, you get a 0. Okay? I'm just telling you, that is something that we did. Now, you can say you want to do it all the time. If he didn't have his lunch, normally the school provided a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or some kind of lunch. But at some point in middle school, I don't know that they did that. He might not have had lunch. I'm just telling you, I had to make it sting a little bit where he'd start trying to be a little bit more aware and self-responsible for his stuff. So I had to make it inconvenient for him. And so I don't mind mistakes. I just want you to learn from your mistakes and not keep using me to make me come up there every day. Okay, so getting out the door. Number 1, I'm going to show you an alarm clock that I really love. I'm a big believer of you not getting up to wake up your kid. Okay, now of course you got to do that at first, but you need to start teaching them to wake up themselves. This is a great alarm clock. It's called a Clocky. I got it on Amazon. That comes in really cool colors. It's the most boring of all. Clocky is an alarm that sits right on the nightstand of whomever's using it, and it rolls off when it goes off, and the object of this is to hide itself from the sleeper. Yeah, this is pretty cool, I will tell you. It makes a real funny R2-D2 sound at first, and then it gets really annoying.
I think you can get them at Whole Earth Provisions, but don't hold me to that. Call first. But
Clocky with a Y.
Which is up by Whole Foods on Preston and Forest. I think you can.
There you go. And I did get one last year at Dillard's after Christmas. I saw it. It was on the after Christmas sale. Don't ask. I guess it was like their gift thing. This runs about $35, $40. But it is the coolest thing. Now, I will tell you, they have a whole bunch of different alarm clocks, from the ones that vibrate real heavy and sonic boom, and obviously it's not really a sonic boom. I'm not trying to damage your kids' ears. But they have all different kinds of alarm clocks. Get creative, because the idea is to help them get up on their own. So that's number one. Number two, you want to make sure when your kids are getting dressed that they can actually reach their clothing. Okay? Some kids in younger grades cannot do that, and sometimes it's best that if you sort or pre-match the clothing, even yourself, pre-matching outfits and pre-matching clothing for kids as well will save time with decision making, especially for those little girls that can't decide on what they want to wear. That saves time. Keep their closet. Look around after like January time, after the Christmas break. Make sure you go through their closet and get rid of all the clothes they've outgrown, instead of them trying on and it's half fitting and then you have to take it off. Keep that closet rotated out. This right here hangs on an existing rod in your closet, okay? And it's adjustable this way, and it will go all the way down, long or short torso, kids, small people, whatever. And then it also is adjustable this way. Now, it comes out all the way if you let it, but it's not supposed to do that as far as when you're in your closet. It won't come out. It'll just do just that. And you don't have to worry about getting one that just fits a certain amount. You can add more to it if you need. It allows it. So if you have like shirts and pants, you can hang this, let's say, over your shirts, and then bring your pants right underneath it, and maybe open up this side, even though there'll be things on the floor, open this side of your little segment of your closet up for a bookshelf or something to go in to give you some shoe storage or getting some things off the floor. But again, it also allows the kids, if they're small, to be able to get their clothes and reach it. And again, if you're going to pre-match outfits, consider using things like this. These are garment dividers, and this makes getting ready quick. Especially if you have little babies or something, and people are in your home trying to dress them and they don't know sizes and stuff. These are at 99 cents at the Container Store, and these are 12 for $10. They're little square ones, or you can go online and get really cute ones, all kinds of pirates and polka dots and all that. And it divides. You can divide clothing by too big, too small, for those of you who go bounce back and forth. Play clothes, all kinds of clothes, winter clothes, and this makes it really easy to find what you need. Whether you're coming in or going out, I love hooks. Okay, this is a hook, this is a puppy little dog tail. This has about 8 colors at IKEA. And you can put these on the wall for hooks. They also have a hook like this that I like that actually bolts to the wall, and it flips down, and when not in use, it flips up. Okay, any type of hooks in their room would help get the clothes off the floor. Kids that wear a pair of jeans just out to eat, or even adults, they're not really dirty, but they're not really clean. Hang them up on a hook is much easier than throwing them over a chair. Well, I'm saying much easier. Throwing over a chair is much easier, but it looks better. Just saying, it looks better, and it really is quite easy just to put them on a hook. It keeps their floor and your floor picked up and not just laying around. Some other things here about getting out the door quicker is if you have a door in which you exit and you want to put up some visual reminders, these have magnets on them. So if you have a metal door, you might want to do something like this. If you want to stick it anywhere, use the 3M type sticker products that come with the hooks, and you can get those just in individual packages. These are good. I got all these at Target. These have the days of the week listed out as well. Now, we talked about going back to meal plans just a little bit. I wanted to show you what I have here. I like to do a little bit of a menu sometimes for the family. I got this at Target, just where you decide on what the menu is, and you can put it on an easel in your kitchen or something like that, hang it on a wall. It divides it out. And I do have a sample of the emails up here of what it looks like when you actually do it. So you can look at it and see if you like that. But I like all these things that are visual reminders, helps you know. My kids like it if I cook a meal that's their favorite for the week, and then I try to do something a little bit different every week. I made some chicken chimichangas the other day. I have a new recipe. I try to take something new and then a lot of old things of everybody and put together. Now, if you're doing a meal plan and you are not purchasing something, here's what I would do. Open your calendar up and see what days you're going to be home to cook. And then plan that many menus on your calendar and your grocery list, okay? Don't just say, I want to go buy for 7 meals, because you may not be home for 7 meals. And so obviously buy for what you're going to use, and you'll know that if you look at your calendar and plan your meals accordingly. In the kitchen, a couple things that this will actually save time. Let me do this first. This will save time. Anyone ever used one of these? I think it's pronounced Videla, but I may be pronouncing it wrong. That's not my strong suit. Do you use one? This is a chopper. I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond, but it's $20. You can get it at Macy's. Talk about healthy foods quick. It chops everything, vegetables, fruits, and it has 2 different chopper blades in here, and it's just press down chop, okay? And then you can shake it, and it's a measuring cup on the side. So again, I'm looking for ways to help you save time, cook healthy, get organized with your time. This is a great product. I actually read about it in the Good Housekeeping magazine. Scores a 5-star rating, and it's dishwasher safe. And I will tell you, it is an incredible tool. I have given away this to more people that's visited my home than I can tell you. It's spelled Vidalia. Chop Wizard is what it's also called. Now, if you're looking for a way, number one, it used to be, and it still is to a large degree, it used to be that when people were sitting around the table, you talked about the day, you talked about situations at work and school, and you shared and you poured into your children and your spouse wisdom and ideas and how to deal with things. And many times food is eaten in front of the TV, and it's eaten very much on the go, and we miss a lot of that. If you can get your family to the table 2 or 3 times a week, okay, with no distractions, and make it a meal that y'all can set down. I am a big gamer. I love to play games, and I'm not video games. I mean like board games, outside games, all kinds. This is it's called Table Topics, and you can go to their site and look. They have tons of these. This sets on our kitchen table, and it's just random questions you go and ask. Look, if you could live 10 years longer, would you give up junk food? Or if, I don't know, some would, I don't know. Or one of the ones is, when is it okay to lie? And at first I said, well, it's never okay to lie. But then I thought, if some bad guy was asking me where my kids are, I'm not going to tell him the truth. So, it just brings up those things that help build a strong family. It allows you to build a relationship while you're eating and play some fun games that your kids can remember things and learn things from as well. So I do like that. If you're on the go, like if you're after school, bedtime, especially things like this, when you're going out to those football and basketball and soccer things, this is great. Okay? You can put this in the back of your car. I believe this is called collapsiblecrates.com. And I actually went to their site not too long ago, and I found them, and I'm like, I have to have them. They sent me like 8 crates. And this one holds like 60 pounds. Okay, another one is a little smaller, holds 40. They do come in brighter colors, but it just clamps flat down. And so if you're having something in your car, maybe the backpacks and stuff coming home from school, maybe there's returns you've got to make, maybe it's a sporting equipment in your car and you don't need to keep it all the time, and you can collapse it down to save space. This is a really good product for that. When the kids come home from school and you have all kinds of binders, all kinds of shoes laying on the floor and it's just a mess, this is a great product. It's from IKEA. Now, this is their lowest cost one, so if you don't like the look and the feel of it, they have actual wood ones that look more like furniture. There's 3 of these that come into a package for under $40. It's a plastic resin, very heavy duty. It actually mounts to the wall, so it floats on the wall just like this. And you can have 3 of them, and each of your kids could have a place for their shoes, gloves, whatever, okay? Even I've had craft rooms with this, but also binders and stuff. And we had a client that had a very narrow walkway coming in from a garage. And all the kids' stuff was on the floor. They really didn't have a mud room, they didn't. And we just installed, I think it's 2, if not 3 of these on the wall. Very narrow, it's not gonna take up a lot of your walking space. And it's a real good way to keep your area organized with all the kids' stuff as well. Clear shoe organizers, guys. Anytime we use these, I will be honest, we hardly ever use these for shoes. Hardly ever use them for shoes. We put, by the door in which you exit, you can put wallet, keys, sunscreen, dog leashes. You can put one for all kinds of school supplies in a closet where the kids can go and get additional school supplies if they need, like map crayons, scissors, whatever, erasers. We use this electronics. If you have a lot of electronics in your home and adapters and chargers and you have no idea where those devices or things go with, you put them in here, you identify them and label the pocket and let all of them know what device they go with. Okay? Go ahead.
I was just going to say another use is something that another organizer and I found out last week is we were doing a gift closet, and that over-the-door shoe holder will perfectly hold those little things of tissue paper. You can stick them all in there. You can see every color. You can put your bows, your ribbons, all of that, and just have it right there.
It's just great. Remember, things efficiently and quickly. Organization is great. Now, when the kids come home from school, here's one thing that I did in my own home. I had a little, it's like a cleaning caddy. I got a Container Store, but I created this and put in the center of our table every day after school. I have homeschooled private school and public school, and I've used the same thing with all the things. It's markers, scissors, tape. One of my children, the one that has ADHD, I even put water bottles in here for him because he would have every excuse in the world to get up and go get something. And I'm like, we're going to cut this out. Any nail clippers, whatever you need in here. Just saying, whatever you need in here is going to be in here. Okay? So anyway, this is a really good thing to have. You can have, like here I have like notebook paper in here. You can have construction paper in these little zip pouches. You have handwriting tablets you can wipe off and use. I mean, the things in here is really just set them there on the table when they come home and remove it when they're done. For kids' artwork, this is if you're Lakeshore Teacher Learning Center, this is really great for elementary kids. It has dividers in it, which nothing else around has it. And you can organize artwork and large artwork like this. You can actually put in here and organize it by grade. Now, one of the things about paper, at the end of the day routine, when the kids are coming home and you have to do something with all the kids' school papers, one of the things you want to do is have a holding tank. And that means every child has a container, whether it's a drawer system, whether it's a hinge lid, and you put their papers in it. I don't want you to be making any decisions with the kids' school papers when they come home for 9 months out of the school year. Okay? All I want you to do is look it over, review it with them, and put it in their holding tank. There's no organization to it except the bottom of the box is the beginning of the school year, and the top of the box is the end of the school year. If you keep the papers, what I see is piles of papers on people's kitchen countertops saying, I got to do something with these papers, I got to put them somewhere. And they move to the dining table, and then they move to the stairs, and then they get shoved in the guest room, right? Because you just don't really have time to make decisions. So make a holding tank with them, and then decide over the summer what you'll keep and not keep. And of course, I got a whole system I don't have time to go into for that. I want to talk about one more thing, and then we're going to take open for questions. And can we go ahead and get the survey forms being passed out while I'm doing that? Would be awesome. And just so you know, on the survey forms, for those that have RSVP'd in advance, you're going to have the opportunity to win a consultation and 5 hours of organizing, For those that didn't RSVP in advance, when you're organized, you get blessed. I'm just saying. But didn't, you're still going to have an opportunity to win a 2-hour consultation with an organizer in your home. So, and they'll give you tons of ideas. So while they're doing that, I want to talk about a little bit more. 2 things I want to end with. A to-go basket and a kid's portfolio. Anything that needs to go out of the house, whether the kid is returning a library book, whether you're bringing a book to someone, whether it's a return to Walmart, have a to-go basket by the door in which you exit. So it makes morning routines really easy because when you're leaving, this is my to-go basket in my home. I put everything that leaves the house in here, and every day when I go to my car, I take out what's in here and I put it in my vehicle. This will save a lot of trips back and forth. I don't want your returns and all the things you have to give to people on your washer and dryer, on your kitchen table. It has one place that it goes with, and this needs to be by the door in which your family exits, okay? It could be a to-go bench. It doesn't have to be a basket, but obviously you want something a little bit more decorish. With your kids' school papers, when you organize them in the summertime, let me just say in one category where you would keep end of the school year report cards, you would keep awards, certificates, accomplishments, all those types of things. Maybe they were in a choir program or a band. Create a portfolio for each of your children. And what you're going to do is put all of those types of things in sheet protectors in a binder. And the reason you're doing this is because as I've experienced with all 3 of my boys, and here's like your program for music, perfect attendance award, eventually letters of recommendations as they get into 8th grade and up. I will tell you, we have used this for scholarships, for part-time jobs, to creating my kid resumes. They have no work history. There is absolutely nothing at all my kids can remember, nor I remember, except they were involved. We don't know when. One of my kids are in ROTC, and he got selected to leave school for a week and go to an Army base with a whole bunch of other kids. You had to have outstanding character and excellent grades. And we kept that. We're going to mention that on his scholarship. We're going to mention that on his resume. You are making your child to stand out with this. So if you keep this now and start putting this together, it'll make that time period in your life much better organized when it comes time. All right, so I know they're still collecting those. When you fill those out, if you'll pass them, the middle section, if you will pass to the end of your right, my left, your right, that would be very, very helpful. Any questions? I mean, I could go on, guys, forever here. Any questions that I can answer?
So, can you give us some tips or a pep talk for decluttering? Like, assuming we do things, we're pretty organized, but we just have like a bunch of junk
Right.
to get rid of.
Excellent. Okay, so every night, now I'm going to start different times. Every night what I would recommend is there be a time the kids unplug from everything and start picking up. Back up their bedtime. If they go to bed at 8:30, back it up to 7:30. Everybody unplugs, you start getting ready, and you pick up what your room or other areas. Now, what I did is created like zones. Every child and possibly every adult in the home could have a zone. And this zone is like a no drama pickup. I don't want drama. I didn't leave that out. I didn't do that. It's in your zone, you pick it up. Okay? And you can pick any areas of your home. This works really great if company's coming over real quick. If you're just after decluttering, what I would do is schedule versus planning and scheduling a time where they actually get control of it. Like, okay, today is the day we're all going to pick up the house and put things back. You got to have a home for things, though. It doesn't do any good if your house is disorganized and you don't have a home for anything. So make sure everyone knows where the home is, where it actually belongs. And then anytime you leave a room, take something with you and put it back where it goes. Don't leave a room empty-handed. You see something, piece of trash, a toy, whatever, it goes with you. So, but I would have a normal bedtime and then back it up an hour and start having pickup at nighttime if you can do that on a regular basis.
What about like, just like
Can I ask you to use the microphone?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, sorry.
You're fine.
I forgot, thank you.
Like, how many days should you allocate to like a clean out? Is it, I mean, is it just totally varied?
Okay, so your days, how many days you want to leave for a clean out, right? And they're doing that, so make sure it picks it up on the recording. Okay, so is that correct? You want to know how many days to correct
Yeah,
for clean
just
out?
how much time should you allocate? Because while a little time every night is good, it's the, sometimes it's gonna take more than that.
Absolutely. So on those, what you need to do is just plan a weekend. And one weekend, one project per month. You don't want to, inundate your schedule with every weekend. So just pick one weekend per month, one day, and say, we're going to clean out X, Y, Z. Do it with them, not for them. Try to get everyone involved. You need to plan out what you want to do in the room, go buy the supplies prior to it, and then have everything there the day that you're ready to do it. That's what I would do. Now, I know this gentleman over here had his hand up. Can we pass the microphone down? I don't want you to speak it until we get that. We can get it on recording.
I was going to ask about the sharing of lists. For example, if you had a grocery list or a shopping list of things you need, and different people, maybe, different parents may be shopping, is there a way to share that list?
Yes. Now, I am not an Apple or Android user. I have a Windows phone, but everybody has an app for something, so don't worry about that. I have one on mine that's called Shared Shopping List. And what it is, and it may be for Android and Apple phones too, is that everybody, I create an account, I go and share that account information via a text to my family. They go on there and now they can pull it up on their phone and add deodorant, toothpaste, and it shows up on it's real live time update. And what they do, if my husband needs some more coffee at Sam's when I go, he will go onto the app and he'll uncheck it. If it's check mark, it means I've got it. But when he needs it again, he goes and unchecks it. And I have Lowe's, Cabela's, Walmart, Sam's, Target. I even have a list for our property in East Texas if we need septic tank, whatever stuff, or if we need, batteries or whatever. I have a list going for it, and it's a real live app update instantly. That's what and I'm sure every device has one. Go ahead.
I just have two quick comments. One was about your brain dump. The thing that works so well about that is that
use that.
The thing that works so well about the brain dump is once you get on top of it, it really frees your mind up to enjoy what you're doing and be in the moment. Because you're not sitting there thinking, in 3 months I need to clean out my garage and I need to go do this in the next 5 minutes and where are my kids going and just by getting on top of that, then when you go to bed at night, you go to sleep. You're not laying there thinking, okay, I gotta remember
all
this,
these things fitting.
and doing it like that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that decluttering is a process. Don't feel like you need to go in there and change the world in a weekend. That if you can work on one room at a time, one spot at a time, one box of paper at a time, and just know that if you've scheduled it in there, that you're moving towards your goal. That your kids and you are not going to completely overhaul your life in a weekend. And
Teresa's one of our organizers. That's why she's given so much wisdom. Okay, go. Wait to get the microphone, and then I'll come to you next. And if you're done with your survey, again, pass it down the middle section to here.
I was just wondering if you had a recommendation for a place that can take negatives and convert them to digital.
Scandigital.com. Scandigital, and you can go online right now to Groupon and get a Groupon on it. I just did it myself. I'm not sure if it's for that type of technology. I know, like I did mine for converting all of our compact VHS over to DVDs, and I just bought 2 Groupons to do that. But Scan Digital is excellent. It's also recognized and used really often by the National Association of Professional Organizers. Let me go ahead and get you.
Sure. I was just going to say we have 3 kids, and we have a lot of girls. We have a lot of clutter, a barrette left on the counters, stuff that, we just wish wasn't there. And so just periodically, I will just say, everybody put 20 things away. And they count as they're going, and so they get to pick whatever they want up. And believe it or not, 60 little things makes a huge difference. And it can be, it happens in 5 minutes, and everybody's done, and everybody's happy, and I'm a lot happier.
I've used the pillowcase. set the timer for 5 minutes and give the little ones pillowcases and see what all they can pick up, and then give them 5 more minutes to put up.
Yeah, our only rule is it has to go where it belongs.
It has to go where it belongs, absolutely. But yeah, definitely make the rules clear. I'm just saying. Okay, someone over here, go ahead.
Do you have any quick and easy way for the hoarder syndrome? I mean, like, oh, this meal could be important, but you don't, it's just, guess what, it's not important. You're overloaded, there's too much information coming in, you just don't.
Right.
What's the crisis limit of, yes, you absolutely need it, everything else needs to, just not.
Well, I'm going to give you a scenario. Last night was my husband's birthday. We were driving home. He goes, my car's fixing to hit 44,444. And I'm like, great. He goes, hey, I got to take a picture of it. And I'm like, why? What are you going to do with a picture? He goes, well, it's a momentous occasion. Whoever sees these numbers on their car. And I'm like, what are you going to do with it? I mean, I'm going to look at this in 20 years and delete it.
So there's a, I mean, you have like a.
I ask myself.
These 5 questions, if you ask this, and you.
I don't think I have 5 questions that you ask yourself. What I make you do is when you put everything together, when you organize and sort a room, you sort a room first, number 1. You never go in and organize first. You sort a room. When you think you have 1 bottle of lotion, you'll keep it. When you gather all them together and find you have 50, you may not keep so many. So you need to see what you really have before you make a decision on what to get rid of. Because hoarding tendencies, number 1, either A, they want someone to take their stuff and be useful to someone, or either they don't think they have enough of it, so they hoard it. I'm not saying that's where you are, but you need to clean out a room and see what you have of certain things. And then I ask myself lastly, what am I leaving my kids? If something happened to me right now, I just went through and got rid of a lot of our old greeting cards. Things my husband gave me, my parents. I can't keep all 2,000 of them. Okay, I'm not going to pass that on. They'll throw it away themselves, so I'm only going to keep the good stuff. So that's sort of my play in my mind. I mean, I could sit down with forever to talk to you about that, but that's a little bit. Over here, next.
Like you just said about things being useful, I know we have a lot of stuff that I like to give away. Do you have any good recommendations of places that things will actually be used? Because that's always my thing. I want someone to actually use it and it to be useful.
Absolutely. Well, outside of the donation, Goodwill and all those kinds of charities, haven't we taken things to children's homes and women's shelters? And you can get really busy taking all your clutter to them. I mean, you really can get if you're over committed already, you got to be careful of that. I just sent it in the email last night. There's a place called Easy Sale. I think it's in Irving. But they will actually, $50 or more, you can just take pictures or tell them what you have, if it's sellable, and they will sell it for you, okay? And they'll come to your house and pick it up for free, and then they'll give you about 55% of what it sells. But, I mean, there's a lot of charities. I mean, I could probably list a whole bunch of charities, but, you know, it doesn't hurt just to give it all to one charity and let them disperse of it. I mean, remember, you're trying to make wise choices with your time. Okay, and then I'm going to get who's over here next.
We talked about decluttering at home, but what about emails, junk mails? Because I have like 10,000 emails.
Okay.
And you just keep deleting every minute because you get junk. And then same way, you have scanned documents.
Yes.
And that's another part of life,
Right.
Sometimes you sit on it. Is there an easy way to get rid of it? Even though you put like spam and all.
True. Okay, so I use Outlook. Everyone is a little different, but let me tell you how to organize. Here's a main tip for email. I create folders and subfolders in my email. So I have an inbox, my email comes in, but then I have a folder down below that is my to-do folder. So as soon as I pack up here and get out to my vehicle, I will set in my car, and I do this because I don't like letting things build up. Unless I have to get somewhere immediately, I will give myself 5 minutes. Every email I will go through and either delete, or I will, if there's an action required on it, I will take it and move it to that to-do folder. My inbox has email in it for a record, but I do not work out of my inbox. I work out of my to-do. So immediately I'm sorting any email that needs a response. If they need something from me, if I need to look at a date or add something to my calendar, I'm not having it mixed in with all the other. Okay, that is imperative that you separate those out. Another thing is you can set up rules with Outlook. I don't know about Google and all those, but you can set out rules and say any email from this needs to go in this box. Maybe coupons, maybe store sales things that come. So you have to set up those rules, and your inbox won't get inundated with all this. But you got to take the time to do that. And Outlook is an excellent email client. You can add 3 or 4 emails go in there, 10 if you want. Go ahead.
Another suggestion too that a friend just gave me recently is, and I never really thought about it, but it's free, to create these email accounts. So have one email that you give out to stores, have one email that is out to the schools, have your personal email and then your work email, maybe one that's for all of your online banking and bills. So then it's sorting for you, and you can go in and look at those.
Right. Okay, one more question over here, and I'm going to stay. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad. And when you leave, ladies and gentlemen, Container Store has been so kind to provide a goodie bag for everybody. Yeah, I'm going to do the raffle. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Liz Grody. I'm with Parent Education Committee. I wanted to thank all of you so much for coming. This will be on our website if you want to be able to look at the presentation again or suggest it to a friend. If you go to the hpisd.org, there's a connection to get over to the PEC website. We want to thank Mrs. Bruner and Jenna and Vonnie. They did a wonderful job. And thank you so much, Lorraine.